it was very tough for her living in Beyonce's shadow while she was performing in Destiny's Child. On Tuesday's episode of The Voice Australia, Kelly made the candid confession while she was mentoring a singer named Chris Sebastian, who's a contestant on the show, who has a brother who is a pretty big Australian pop star named Guy Sebastian.
Can you imagine what it's like being in a group with Beyonce? I would just torture myself in my head like, well, I can't wear this dress because they're going to say it's like B, or I can't have a song like that because it sounds too much like B. They're going to compare anyways. I would...
What is up, y'all? It's your girl, Brand New, and honey, I am back in the building, and this time, honey, I'm back to talk about Kelly Rowland. Y'all know her formerly of Destiny's Child. That group consisted of Kelly Rowland, Beyonce Knowles, and Michelle. I forgot her last name. I believe it's Michelle Williams. First off, you guys, before we get to the video, I would like to thank you all for your birthday wishes. I truly enjoyed my day, and I enjoyed talking with you all virtually. It was fun. All right, so let's get back to this video, honey, of Kelly saying that the people is always comparing her to Beyonce.
I would be lying if I said, no, it's never bothered me. That's bull. There was a whole decade, if I'm being completely honest, that it was like the elephant in the room, but the thing that was constantly beyond my shoulder.
I know.
I'll say this. Kelly Rowland saying that she lived in Beyonce's shadow for a decade while in Destiny's Child was just the very beginning of what every artist in the world had to live under when Beyonce left Destiny's Child. You know, in Destiny's Child, it was Kelly Rowland in the shadow. Beyonce out of Destiny's Child. It's everybody else in Beyonce's shadow. Like, this is just what it's like to live in the world with Beyonce.
And here's my thing on the situation, you guys. I believe Kelly, and I love that Kelly is talking so candid about, you know, being in Beyonce's shadow. You know, let's just face it, you guys. Beyonce is the star of that group. And, you know, if we want to talk about the media and, you know, who the media's favorite is, we know it's Beyonce. You know, she is the most talented artist in the group. A lot of people would say, you know, she's the most beautiful. Some people would argue, hey, she's light-skinned. You know, a lot of people like the light-skinned artists, you know what I'm saying? So you got some people that look at the group like that. I've always respected all of the ladies collectively. Beyonce is my favorite. Just because I feel like out of all three of them, she is more into her craft more than any of them. Like, you could tell Beyonce really loves what she does. And it's kind of like spiritual for Beyonce. Like, she's not like a regular artist, just, oh, I'm gonna sing a few songs, I'm gonna come out with a few albums, look cute, and you go see pictures of me with my man Jay-Z. It's not like that. It's, I work hard. You know, I have to stay on top. I will rap on certain albums. I will sing my ass off on certain songs. You know, Beyonce constantly switches it up. And, you know, she constantly sets and makes new goals, and she meets those goals. We all see her, you know, making her dreams come true. You know, she has 3 beautiful children. She's married to a very popular, rich man. You know, like, everything has went pretty well for Miss Knowles, honey. Aside from Jay-Z doing all that unnecessary ass cheating. But, honey, that is a story for another day. Beyonce got it going on, you know, but I feel bad for Kelly because Kelly, her situation, even with her being a Destiny's Child, what was she adopted by the Knowles? You know, her mother was staying with them, and then I believe eventually Kelly ended up just staying with the Knowles. They considered her like another one of their daughters, and then her real mother went and cleaned homes for somebody else. She went to try to get on her feet, and even once she got on her feet, you know, Kelly didn't end up living with her. She stayed with Beyonce and Solange and Miss Tina, you know, and Matthew. So I don't know. It just kind of looks like Kelly was always going to be second best when it came to Beyonce, just with that whole setup. Like, it wasn't Beyonce going to stay with her and her mother and her father and, reaping the benefits of her life. It was the other way around. So, Kelly was kind of, the help in the situation. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like it was always going to be that dynamic in the group. But I'm glad that Kelly is mature enough and smart enough to know better than to listen to any of these haters out here that's saying, she's not talented. She shouldn't even be in a group with Beyonce. Because a lot of people, you guys, have said that for years. They try to clown how she look. I think Kelly is very beautiful. I really do. I feel like she's attractive. Michelle's attractive. All of three of those women are very beautiful women. And one thing I can appreciate with Destiny's Child more than a lot of these other groups is they never broke up. The three of them, I should say, because we know they had members and shit coming in and out the door at first. But they had the most three dedicated members that stayed. Beyonce, who we know wasn't going nowhere. Her dad was tied to the group. He was a manager at one point. We had Kelly. Kelly never got on drugs, and she didn't go out here acting a fool. I'm sure she made some mistakes in her life, but y'all know what I'm saying. She could have really went off the deep end because of, how she's treated, in Destiny's Child, like, oh, she's second best. Oh, she ain't Beyonce. Michelle too. People dog Michelle. Y'all remember she fell on stage. I think they had a performance on 106 in Park. And, her and Keisha Cole went back and forth. Keisha Cole was dogging her out, saying she, was messing up the group because she don't know how to dance and stuff. A lot of people don't like Michelle's voice. I mean, it's just so many different things, but I'm proud that all three of the women are still friends because, a business like this can easily break any group up. So this, it's amazing, though, that they're all still cool and mature and are able to ignore, what the media is trying to put out there about all of them.
Yeah. Beyonce is just an incredible force and a talent. And when you are standing in a group next to her, every time we see Beyonce, of course you're going to be compared. And I agree with you, Ross. Anyone making R&B or anybody just even in pop, number one, any competitor, any female musician, anybody really is going to be compared competitively to Beyonce. She is number one. But kudos to Kelly for still having a strong friendship with Beyonce. Because something like that, for a lot of egos in Hollywood, being compared so much and having to stand next to someone who is always number one, who's the reigning queen, and not allowing that to turn into any sort of envy or rivalry in this business is a really big deal, because that relationship could have gone the other way. And I love the fact that they're still friends to this day.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think it's always been, and you always got a sense too, and the unfairness of it. There's the inevitable thing that you're going to live in Beyonce's shadow, but there was an unfairness too when the perception sort of was that they were riding Beyonce's coattails, or that she was carrying them in some way. I always found those analogies to be quite unfair. But for Kelly Rowland to be at this point of where she can acknowledge, and not only acknowledge, but use it to educate somebody who's also going through that same thing. To me, it just shows exactly what Keisha said, that there is a massive amount of love between Kelly and Beyonce still.
Yeah. Yeah, Simply Simone is saying, I'm not surprised everyone used to call Kelly and Michelle the background, which is not true. Keys is saying, I love Kelly. And, it's one thing to actually have, to be able to have a working friendship with Beyonce, especially after, years of feeling this way, but also to admit this on television, like to throw it out there. That's something that obviously has been painful at times. She's been able to get by, but also to throw it out there. So I think that was, big kudos to Kelly. I really, really like that. And
all right, you guys, that's pretty much what I have to say on that. How do y'all feel about this situation? How do you feel about what Kelly Rowland said, and, how for years it has bothered her, people constantly comparing her to Beyonce? How would that make you feel if you were Kelly? Do you feel like Kelly could have been, the top dog of the group? Because she sings, just as good as Beyonce. She's beautiful, in her own right. Or do you feel like the odds were always stacked against Kelly because Beyonce's dad was the manager? Beyonce is, very pretty and has the light skin, and how the music industry is. They kind of prefer that over, anybody darker. We have seen some dark skinned women make it, but do you see what I'm saying? Like, do you feel like Kelly, could have taken over the group, and could have been like the lead singer of the group? Who is your favorite in Destiny's Child? Y'all get down in the comments. Let me know how you feel about all of that. Don't forget, you guys, to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell button twice. I am your girl, Brand New, and I will check you guys out in the next video.